Good evening. At this time, I'd like to call the regular meeting, Wallingford Inland Wetlands Watercourse Commission to order. The date is Wednesday, March 4th, 2020. The time is 7 p.m. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call. Allie?
Eileen McKean.
Nick Kern.
Jim Vitale?
Deborah Phillips.
Michael Caruso. Robert Simon.
Jennifer Passeretti.
Aaron O'Hare, Environmental Planner.
Looking for consideration of the minutes of a special meeting on January 15th, 2020. Any comments regarding the minutes? Any corrections? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve or deny.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that the minutes from the special meeting on January 15th, 2020 be accepted as submitted.
Is there a second?
Second.
I'll call for a vote. Allie?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Yes. The minutes, there is no minutes from the regular meetings, there is no minutes from the regular meeting that was scheduled February 5th, 2020, because that meeting was canceled. Going into old business, application A20 2.1 12 Northfield Road. Yes, sir.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is James DeMeo. I'm an engineer and surveyor at Giuliano Associates. I'm here representing Nick and Rose Williams for their application at 12 Northfield Road. To give a brief summary of what they're proposing to do is there's an existing dwelling already on the property. They're proposing to knock it down and rebuild in the same location. Their intention is actually to use the same foundation as well. Build up, they're going to add a deck off the back and a little bit more living space that they're going to cantilever off one of the sides. The existing garage is going to remain. They are going to install a new bituminous driveway, as well as eliminating one of the existing ones. So currently there's two. They're going to eliminate one and then also have some walkways. It's a net decrease in impervious area. They're also going to, or what they're proposing to do is in the existing cleared area where there's no trees, they would like to plant grass there and make it a yard. And I would like to apologize because there was a little bit of confusion between myself and Aaron because we were both talking to different spouses, and different spouses had different ideas. And originally in her report, she did mention of a stone wall, and my understanding was,
wait a minute.
yeah, but
What you talked to Aaron about is very difficult for us to see. If you can get up to your map and
Yes, sir.
show us what's going on up there. Remember, this is a wetland application, so it's not a planning and zoning application.
yes, sir.
So that you got to focus on wetland issues. But I've got to ask you beforehand, are you talking about just 12 Northfield Road, not 16?
Is this on? Okay. The existing property is 1216 Northfield Road. It's two parcels that they're essentially one owner. It's under one deed. It's so I know it's a little confusing how it's divvied up, but
what your intentions is just to do all this work on 12, the old 12.
no, it's not just on 12. So the line between 12 and 16 is right here. It's in between the house and the garage. So some of the work that is being proposed is planting the grass behind the garage and along the road. So that's just planting grass. It's not cutting down trees. It's not doing anything like that. All they want to do, it's already cleared. It's just they want to mow it and turn it into a lawn. In the place where there was confusion on 12, the homeowners would like to have a stone wall built more as a visual barrier for their children to not go past and everything else. So a little 3-foot wall. I have a picture of what they were proposing, which I could pass out. If
Well,
you're
where is it going to go?
It's going to go right here. It's going to go, it's in the upland review area, but it's not in the wetlands. Just about 45 feet right here.
Okay.
And then the last thing that they are proposing to do is they would like to cut down, or not, sorry, not cut down. There are existing trees that have been blown over and just debris in the woods. They would like to clean it up. And it's in various locations. A big pocket of them is in the wetlands directly behind the house. But it is scattered throughout the property, and there's just a number of, branches and trees and stuff that's already knocked over. No intention of cutting down healthy trees that are already growing and things like that.
Well, so with Erin's report here, she's got some pictures, of some very interesting pictures of a lot of, not activity in the backyard behind the existing house, but piles of brush, steep slope, trees leaned over, stumps, and the concept there, and then right up to the edge of the brook, which I think the washout is the opposite side of your property?
Yes, sir.
Your client's property?
It's on the other side of the brook from where all this activity is happening. I can show you on the map as well if you would like to visually see it.
Well, this is your application. You got to remember, this is your application.
No, I understand.
You're convincing us that this is the right thing to do for these wetland or upland review area. So you can show us anything that's pertinent to your application.
Yeah, as of right now, the only activities that are pertinent to the application are in between the Northfield Road and Winter, or in the brook. So nothing on the other side of the brook. They're not.
Well, she gave quite a list of recommendations.
Yes, sir.
That needs to be done on this site. Are you in agreement with all of them?
All but 2 of the conditions I agree with, and I have attempted to address on the latest set of plans after speaking with Erin. She asked me to update plans, revise them, and then bring them in tonight to give to her, which is what I've done. I've revised, to the best of my ability, all but 2. And the 2 that I'm not in agreement with is, 1, she requested the bridge location to be shown on the map, and she even referenced it as approximate location. And one of the previous comments that we've received was that for the actual easement location for that bridge to be shown. The bridge is within the easement. We feel that that's approximate enough. They're not doing work up to the bridge, so we don't necessarily feel it's pertinent to the application. And then the second is the tree locations, because again, it's knocked over trees and just debris.
Well, I hate to sound foolish, but where's the bridge?
Yes, sir. The bridge location, so this dotted line right here is the easement location. So the bridge is within the easement. It's essentially centered on the brook as it hits Northfield Road.
this bridge is part of Northfield Road then?
Yes, it's a town bridge, culvert bridge. So that easement is in favor of the town over this property.
Commissioners, questions? Ally?
I got nothing.
Nick? Debbie?
No.
Mike?
I got a question for you. It says no heavy equipment on one of your stipulations here, allowed in the wetlands. And according to a couple of these pictures you have here, you have some pretty good heavy-sized stumps and some heavy trees down. How you plan on getting those out?
If it can't be manually done, then it can't be done. If that's a stipulation that the Wetlands Commission would like to impose, that the no heavy machinery, then the applicants are ready to abide by that.
No further questions.
I have nothing.
Aaron, you're up.
Okay, I haven't seen the map that James just referred to, the final map that I asked for. So I'd like to look at that, make sure everything's on it that I asked for. I haven't seen it yet. Okay, so, okay, let's see where to begin. This is a very unique property. They got a variance to allow the residential use because it's in a commercial district. So they did get the variance for that, and they're going to take this house down, use the foundation, and build a Tudor drawing. They showed me the Tudor drawing of the new house that they plan to have there. All right. The thing that's so unique about this is that the whole thing's in the floodplain. 99% of it is the whole property, which is about 9.6 acres, is in the 100-year floodplain. And that's defined, that's one thing I wanted called out on this map. It is on the map that you received in your packet. The floodplain is drawn on the far western side of the lot, but it's not called out. That dark black line with
Like triangles.
little triangles in it, that's the FEMA 100-year flood line. Now, I also asked Mr. DeMeo to put the floodway on the map. Is it on the new map?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I haven't seen that yet. But I'm most concerned about the floodplain. The entire thing is in a floodplain, and it goes, as it was explained to me, floodplain is defined in a given area by the elevation. So the engineer takes that elevation and applies it to the elevation of this particular property. That Mr. DeMeo told me the flood actually goes over the road. If we ever get a 100-year flood, it's predicted to go over Northfield Road. So the point of that is these folks have very limited things that they actually can do with this property. It was filled in years past. The whole area around the house was filled. This whole thing was lower. It was filled. I don't know how many years ago, maybe some of you know. So I'm of a mind I'm of a mind to let that fill stay. I don't know if the commission feels differently, and just deal with some recent filling that went in there, like in the last year, there's some small filling. Just deal with that, have that extracted. But separate from what you do tonight, I just want you to know, they do have to go get a flood permit from the planning department. For instance, if they go ahead with a stone wall, that is considered a deposition in a floodplain. So they have to go and provide compensatory storage for that. So it gets complicated. That's one thing I want to point out. All right, the other thing with the trees, I don't want to make more work for the engineer to go count the trees. That's not my intent. It's just, I don't know how many trees we're talking about, because they want to take trees out along Northfield Road, as well as in the back. Now in the back there's this tangle of, probably from the microburst, tangle of trees and vines. So when they look out their kitchen window in the back in the future, they're just going to see this tangled mess of a lot of downed trees. So I feel that they should be allowed to take that out. Why I put it in about the heavy equipment is this is soggy black organic soil. Unless they could provide some kind of skid bridge, Nick would know about that, for the equipment to run over and not sink down and make huge ruts in the black soil. That's what the note I put in about heavy equipment. I don't mind heavy equipment up by Northfield Road, and I took a picture. There's pictures up there, it's about 20 pictures in a packet going around of different parts of this property. There are a number of broken trees, dead or dying broken trees, 4 that I counted in particular up by Northfield Road, that in the upland review area that have no they can be taken out. The owners did want to put, I don't know if they still want to put a little garden in there, like not a vegetable garden, but just to dress it up a little bit with shrubs and maybe some flowers.
Yeah, I believe that's the intention, like some small plantings just to help out the area.
Yeah, that would be between the bridge and getting toward the garage in that strip along Northfield Road, and to take down like 4 trees in that area. So another thing, they're going to pave, pave the driveway, but that's not in the upland review area. There's a few other improvements, but basically that's what's going on here. As far as the erosion, there's this horrendous erosion. It has nothing to do with the owners. They did nothing wrong. It's just that the river takes a very sharp bend. And over the last few years, I have just seen it ravage that hillside. I don't know how many hundreds of thousands of dollars it would cost to put in some kind of slope stabilization in there. It would involve, I imagine, state funding to help with that. I did explore it about 5 years ago, and we got the state interested, but then they had no money in the budget to pursue it. So it could be pursued at some point in the future. It not only is soil caving in and into the river and gotten taken down to ends up in Long Island Sound, but now it's threatening the house up above on its 3 Park.
Well, that's
Place up
a
there.
discussion for, I think, for a later date.
Yes.
So basically, though, you want material taken out of there, but you don't want heavy equipment in there to take the material out.
Well, there's the trees and there's some filling, but
But that's okay for heavy equipment.
well, for the fill, it would be in the upland. They just reach down and get it up. And that's not a problem. For the trees, I think there's a picture of the ugly tangle of trees and vines behind the red house.
It's all undermining the trees now falling in.
If they can get it out without sinking in the muck, how would they do that? I mean,
I don't know, I'm not out there. But you can't, you gotta have them to have the ability to have equipment to do the requested work you want. Because I doubt if you're gonna find 100 people that are manual labor to do it. I don't know if it's gonna take that big equipment. You're describing heavy equipment. You know, there's a lot of different equipment out there to try and qualify for heavy equipment.
well, tell me, I don't know.
I mean, you could have an oversized lawn tractor that could get some of that stuff out. Is that heavy equipment? Or is a D8 bulldozer, Caterpillar D8, is that heavy equipment? They've got quite a range of items to use.
Okay.
I mean, and if he sinks in, what happens then? It gets repaired.
He might have someone pull him out.
But the property, the wetland, the area, the upland review area will get repaired.
You mean the wetland?
Or the wetlands, or whatever damage is done when you talk
Right,
about.
over time, when it floods, it'll mush it, level
It's
it out.
probably other heavy equipment will go in and regrade it.
Maybe what to do is to eliminate that as a condition of approval about when I said no heavy equipment, maybe say any ruts created in the wetland by heavy equipment needs to have erosion control or needs to be remediated.
That's correct. That
Okay.
sounds better.
Yeah.
Okay. So, other than cleaning up the site, this is what we're really talking about. I don't know, where are you going with this stone wall? Is this stone wall still in your application or not in your application?
It is in the application. And that's not in wetlands, it's an upland review area completely.
Where is it?
It's just in the upland review area, not actually physically in the wetlands.
All right, so basically, if we were to approve this tonight, we'd be looking at Aaron's conditions of approval, which you're in agreement with,
Yes, sir.
and the stone wall being in the upland review area. And the only one change in the conditions of approval is to change the wording from heavy equipment to any damage done to the property will be remediated immediately.
Then the only other two conditions that I would be concerned with is depicting the bridge location and the physical location of all the trees.
Well, I don't know, what are you trying to do with the bridge location? I don't understand the problem with the easement on the bridge location. What's the,
I don't either.
and why is it an issue you're made?
Oh, no, I think they don't want to spend money going out and survey the exact location of the bridge. I just want them to write bridge, the word bridge, that's all.
I mean, we have an easement area.
I'm sorry?
We are depicting an easement area for the bridge. Is that sufficient? It's just.
I would think so. I mean,
Okay.
the bridge is in the easement area of the town.
Yeah.
Okay, and the other one was counting of the trees? Well, what about the trees?
The locations of the trees on the map. And again, I feel that they're just so sporadic and, you know, it's all over the property. So it's hard for me to just go out there and physically show them on the map. That's my only concern.
And what's the purpose of the trees located on the map?
I didn't want them surveyed one by one. I just didn't want the whole upland review area to be devoid of trees. You know, end up manicured. Some people like to manicure.
So if you put the trees on the map, you could always go back and say there was trees here once. Is that what you're saying?
Or can we modify the condition to state that the enforcement officer will visit the site with the homeowners and they can physically spray paint each tree that's pulling out, so that this way she has the opportunity to visually see which trees are coming out before they actually.
Well, I think that's an automatic, that's a given.
Yeah.
But I think what she wants you to do is walk along with the map in your hand. If this is where this tree is, this is where this tree is. Doesn't have to be a surveyed points, but you can certainly be a general area on them. And what ones you're saving. I mean, I think what she's concerned about is the applicant eliminating all the trees in the next X number of years while they live there. I mean, I don't know, is that a problem still?
It's just additional work. That's my only concern for the client.
In his opening statement, you spoke of they weren't going to take any trees, cut any good trees down. You're just going to take the ones that have been windblown or
Yes, sir.
disturbed.
Yes, sir.
So, I mean, that kind of summarizes it. You're not going to be taking good, healthy trees out. You're going to take what's blown over or dead from the
Yes, sir.
microburst, whatever. So
They-
is that good enough for you, Aaron?
I'll have to review it with the owners to make sure that they just don't keep on going.
Okay, so everything else is fine then?
Yes, I haven't seen the new map. I'd like to take a look at that.
Well,
But I agree with all those other conditions, and I will make sure that all those conditions are met.
well, I don't want to spend a half hour looking at the map to see if something is on there.
Oh, I think
Because this map should have been into her office long before tonight.
yeah. It'd be real quick, 3 minutes? Thank you. Is there a construction anti-tracking pad? Was that?
Yes, ma'am.
When she-
That's the other one. You want them? You want the pictures? They're down.
Pictures.
Pictures, they're looking at the pictures. Oh,
Topography. Well, no, it's here, because it's close.
there's a lot of trash there that needs to come out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's, okay, good. Okay, can I mean,
Yeah, I'm
do you have a regular copy? Yeah.
yeah.
I don't need the Okay.
This is the trouble, she's had 30 days plus to look at this and nothing ever gets.
All right, Mr. Chairman,
All set?
the new plan's good. It has what I wanted, yeah.
All right, at this time, I'll entertain a motion regarding significant activity of this application.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that application A 20-2.1, 12 Northfield Road, Wharton Brook, Rose Williams residential development be declared not a significant activity.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion?
Mike?
Any discussion? Call for a vote. Nick?
Yes.
Deb?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Robert?
Yes.
Yes. It should be all the regular.
Full-time commissioners.
Okay. At this time, I'll entertain the motion to approve or deny this application.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that the application A 20-2.1, 12 Northfield Road, Wharton Brook, Rose Williams residential development be approved with the conditions that are noted in the environmental planner's report of February 27, 2020, excluding number 1, and with a correction to number 5, that any damage done by any heavy equipment used in the area would need to be remediated immediately.
Very good. Motion made. Is there a second?
Second.
Mike. Okay, motion made and second. Any discussion? Call for a vote. Nick?
Yes.
Deb?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Robert?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, have a good night.
Okay. Now I lost my agenda. Okay, that's environmental. Here we go. Okay, going on to new business is a request for a pre-application discussion regarding 8 Turnpike Road, Wallingford YMCA. Yes, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening.
And
Nice to meet you.
thank you very much for your time and effort. And there's definitely no pressure. All we're looking for is some good feedback from you lovely folks. My name is Sean Doherty. I'm the Executive Director for the Wallingford Family YMCA.
Microphone, are you?
Oh, sorry.
Is it on? You gotta be sure it's on. It's on.
Yeah, okay. And to my left is,
Sam Sargent, board member of the YMCA in town, and Lasserson Sargent Architects.
okay. And just to give you a little feedback, this is, the focus is 8 North Turnpike Road, which is known, I may refer to this as the West Side YMCA. We have been leasing the property since 2012, and we're just able to obtain the property in 2019, fall of 2019. Our plans for the site was to add an aquatic center to the location, to expand our aquatic programming, such as swim lessons and water therapy, lap swim, competitive swimming. Right now we have the pool's located at the East Side facility. We also rent space from Sheehan High School 5-6 days a week during the school time frame. The application, or the discussion for today is that we were looking at best use of the facility and best area to put the aquatic center addition as it relates to tying into the existing structure. And we had located the rear side of the building, the back side of the building, as the best location that would not take out any of the parking on the front side of the building. It does encroach into the wetlands. That's why we're here in front of you today. And just for historical purposes, in 2006, the previous owner had proposed a back addition to the facility, about a 4-lane pool that they had gotten approval from planning and zoning back in 2006. So this is placing actually 2 pools, an 8-lane pool and a warm water family pool for those existing uses that I just had shared with you. To give you also a backdrop as well from a volume location, we serve roughly about either 1,000 to 1,200 folks per day through both facilities, east and west side, and about 12,000 folks on an annual basis, which is roughly about 1 out of every 5 Wallingford residents. So we never turn anybody away with the inability to pay, and offer a lot of our programs at subsidies due to financial need. So this is to expand the community needs and to fulfill the community.
That's it?
Well, you have in front of you a site plan which shows the layout of the area that we would like to talk about tonight. Part of it is taken from a schematic design for a Putnam Y. It would be the pool, and we simply placed icons on the site and then sketched around it to determine this just general area that we'd like to discuss with you to see if we can use this space. It makes a lot of sense internally for the operation of the Y facility to have those in the back. And also it does help us with parking, which is growing to be somewhat of a problem as the Y facility becomes ever more popular. And then with the addition of this aquatic center and possible new gymnasium, that will probably get worse. I'm happy to show you aspects of the drawing if you would like, but basically what we're asking for is some discussion so that we can plan on how we can use the facilities. And understand completely if you say that this is an impossibility, but what we're hoping to do is find a way of ameliorating, I think is a good word, the whatever adjustment we make to the wetlands by possibly relocating wetlands, reconfiguring wetlands if possible. And there is a significant amount of wetlands on the site to the south side of the Y facility. And what we're also hoping is that if it is possible to place this facility, this building addition on the site, another thought would be to design it in such a way so that actually the edge of the building over time is abutting wetlands, and there's actually a no-go zone, if you will, for use of Y members. And so as you look out of the windows from the pool, you would actually be looking out into a natural environment, a wetlands environment. And so what we're trying to do is come up with a fairly creative way to satisfy the Y's needs and also be as sensitive as we can to maintaining the same level of wetlands that's on the site now going forward into the future.
Well, you said you would go up and point out your map to the commission. I think that's probably
All right.
a good idea.
Chairman, I gotta make a motion. I'd like to recuse myself from this board from
This application, yeah.
this application due to the fact I've worked with Sam Sargent in the past. I'd like to remain impartial, so not take a vote.
Okay, thank you.
Turned it off.
That sounds good. All right. This is a drawing that we created using a Codispoti A2 survey, and on it is the wetlands locations on the site. And we simply adjusted it to make it a little clearer for the purposes of this presentation. The existing building is this gray area. And Sean, how big is the existing building?
26,000 square feet.
26,000 square feet. And what we're hoping to do is add what is shown in yellow. This portion to the north side of what we're proposing to add is taken from that icon from the Putnam Y and is the exact size for their lane pool and warm water pool that was actually built in Putnam, Connecticut. The rest of it what we're hoping is we can, in some ingenious way, hopefully, fit a gymnasium in there and the auxiliary functions of the pool, mechanical rooms, things like that, into the rest of the space. But the outline of the yellow area is really just defined by the length of the pool that we need and a sewer easement that travels across the site and allowing some buffer to the sewer easement, so we're not actually disturbing the sewer easement. And then the shape is simply something for discussion. And that's why we're here before you, because what we'd like to do is come up with a creative way to solve this issue and see if we can't take, say, this wetland area that we'll be impacting and possibly reconstruct it over on this side, infilling portions of this jagged area of wetlands, something like that, some solution like that. And what we're just looking to do is make it work for the Y, give the town a great facility, and as Sean said, a lot of town citizens use the Y facility, and it's getting more and more used. It's becoming more and more popular. And with the addition of the aquatic center and the new gymnasium, it'll be even more popular. And already, this is a configuration of parking that was done in 2000, the year 2000, which is the time of this survey. And there has been some reconfiguration of it, but even with the reconfiguration to make it more efficient, the lot is starting to fill up. Are there any questions that I can?
That's my job to ask.
Okay.
Ally?
So the existing building is 26,000.
Correct.
What's the square footage of the addition?
Approximately 15,000. And that includes also, in addition to the pools, it also includes a new locker room system, both men, women, special needs, and family locker rooms as well.
You all set, Ally?
Yes.
You got any soil samples from out there? If 2006 they came in with an application, can we retrieve them and see what types of soils are out there?
Well, at this point, Sean is actually negotiating with Codaspoti to actually redo this whole survey, reflag the wetlands, provide brand new topo, and so there will be a brand new drawing, and I'm sure that a soil scientist will probably have some kind of report as he flags the wetlands. I believe so, anyway, Nick.
Because if I take your yellow footprint there and flip it over into the original print, it almost looks like the square footage is almost the same. It's very, you talked about 16,000 to 27,000? On the square footage?
The intent of this drawing, Nick, is not to be, it has a level of reality, but it's brought before you tonight for discussion purposes. And what we want to know is, can we proceed further with this idea, in which case we would work on optimizing what is shown in this yellow area around exactly what we need. And in fact, some of the facilities may occur at the front of the building as we try and optimize the parking as well. What we're trying to do is just show you a general area that we'd like to discuss with you tonight. That's all.
Yep. Debbie?
No.
Mike?
No question.
Jen?
I'm just curious, what is to the east here? What?
There is low-rise apartment buildings. I believe they're 2.5 stories, like a half a story in the ground. And I'm not sure, I believe that there is a what used to be a gas station in this general area up here.
Aaron, do you have any comments?
Does this, this just came in like this week. Does this sketch in front of us show the floodplain?
I don't believe it does.
All right, you
And
could,
it's certainly something we could ask Codaspoti to put on the drawing. But I do believe that this site is significantly above the level of Community Lake now. So it's reasonable to think that there is no floodplain on this site, but they would know, and they will map it according to the FEMA maps.
I'm like concerned, Sam, with the pipe that goes under the highway. In the previous last 20 years, the water bottlenecks up there, and that's the area that floods. That whole wetland area that you're planning your new building on, sometimes it's underwater or it's right up to the grade of the area back there because the water can't get through the pipe fast enough. Now, in 2006, we requested that the owner clean that culvert out so the water could pass under the highway. I'm not sure if it was ever done or not. I mean, maybe you can have your designer take a peek and see if that pipe is clean, because that was a big factor, because it's not about Community Lake's water level, it's about what comes down from the top of the hill down into the parking lot.
Yes.
Yeah.
In fact, we were exploring an opportunity behind the firehouse, and I believe that this actually connects with the stream that comes down from Ashlar Village and drains that. But what we have is a site that was owned by a landlord that really did not take care of the facility the way the Y is going to. And now, having bought it just last autumn, what we're trying to do is figure out how we can make it right.
Aaron?
Just curious, is it a one-story building today?
It is a one-story building. There is a very small section of a second floor right here. It's very small. It's
You gotta really get into the mic.
Okay, there's a very small section of a mezzanine right here, possibly 1,000 square feet, possibly less.
Because I was just wondering if you're going to explore having the pool on the bottom and having, classrooms up above or gym rooms
The big problem with
on the
doing
second
that
floor.
is the clear span needed for the pool and the very, very high cost of the structure to span the distance. What we're talking about is a competition level pool, which is what the Y is trying to accomplish on this site.
So we would say stay a single story.
Well, I think the issue here is, are we willing to give up any wetlands for any reason? Does this set a precedent in the town of Wallingford that says, oh yes, it's a good project, it's going to benefit a lot of people, yeah, we don't need the wetlands? I think that's what we're really talking about here. And then when you talk about eliminating wetlands, you're also going to be not only the size of the building, but the construction area around the building, the upland review area. There's a lot of factors going into eliminating the wetlands. It's not just the benefit to the project. Yes, Sam?
There is a significant amount of wetlands. You can see the flagged area of wetlands through the site. And our intent is to protect the level of wetlands on the site, maintaining it into the future. I'm suggesting that whatever we take away in this slither here, if you will, we could recreate here. And I'm also suggesting that we build the building in such a way that the perimeter of the building is wetlands.
Yeah, but you're going to be in the wetlands to build the building.
Yes.
You're going to be in a perimeter around the building,
I agree.
10, 15 feet. So, well, that looks like a good place for your parking, your additional parking over there.
You mean in this area?
Sure, cross it that narrow, put a box culvert in, and you can have quite a bit of parking over there. I know what the problem is, though. The people that come to exercise at the Y do not want to walk to get there. They want to be able to park right in front of the building.
And I've been asking Sean to address that for literally years, Jim.
Well, it's not only in Wallingford. I see it in Meriden. Meriden lost all its parking in downtown Meriden because the people that go to the Y want to park right in front.
I think that this is a really valuable piece of outdoor activity space for the Y. And at some point, it's probably arguable that Sean will come before you and ask for some kind of wetlands crossing so that children on camp or something like that can engage in activities in this area.
Ball field space, soccer, baseball, that kind of thing.
Parking, but you're indicating parking is very valuable too.
Parking is very valuable, and we're probably going to reconstruct or reorganize the entrance. There's a large ramp that comes down into the space to try and optimize the parking. But this is an area that's isolated and would be very difficult to get to for cars. It seems reasonable that a camp area for the juveniles at the Y would be appropriate.
You seem to have a little more area. You have a strip of parking going out to River Road.
Yes, here.
This looks like you can get additional parking in there.
Yes, and when Codispoti does the re-engineering, not re-engineering, but the resurveying of the site, we intend to optimize the parking area.
Maybe that should be the entrance to the Y. And then look at you take out that ramp, look how much more parking is available.
If that would give us a significant amount of parking, I think that that's a possibility. I'd just be concerned that people would be coming on and off a on-ramp and exit ramp for the Merritt Parkway.
Well, you certainly, Hartford Turnpike's got more traffic than the ramp
Yes,
has, so you have that same issue at the top of the hill.
I agree with
You
you.
have a light, actually you have a light there at the end of the ramp,
Right.
which is a little plus.
Yes. It's definitely a possibility.
There is already a driveway across from that too that goes to that little motel.
That would be in this area.
Right. So there's already some traffic that goes that way.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people do take that shortcut and go through that.
Yeah.
To enter the Y parking lot. The only problem I would see with that is that the entrance off of Hartford Turnpike is a really steep hill, and they'd have to move a lot of dirt, build a big retaining wall in order to really, work into that, I think.
I don't think the fire department would let you take that ramp out because it's got something to do with excess.
And these are the things that we need to investigate. We're just getting our hands around this project now, and we thought we'd come before you to see what might be done, might be possible on the east side of the building with some creative use of the rest of the site to, like I said, soften the effect of the impact on any wetlands.
I'm not concerned with giving up the wetland. I'm concerned with giving up the wetlands because I remember before Grand Union went in there what that site was.
Yeah.
My concern is how are you we're gonna give you some of the wetlands to build your pool. How are you gonna make our wetlands as they're existing there better by trading, giving you what you want for what we want? I don't see you doing that.
That is part of the discussion that we will have with this board in future time. We'll be talking to Aaron, we'll be talking to our soil scientist for different ways of modifying possibly how these wetlands are configured here so that this impact here is taken up by whatever happens here. That's just my thought, but I'm sure with a soil scientist on board and the appropriate civil engineer, we will find a way of recreating whatever is lost.
Well, I personally, I'm asking you to work with us to show us how you can do this because I don't.
And I look forward to doing that, Nick.
But at the moment, the answer is no wetland elimination. I mean, that would be,
What I'm hearing is that the conversation is not over, though.
Correct. Conversation's not over. I think that you could even add into the front of the building and then add more parking, add pavement over to the south corner, where that corner is between the, yes. Because that's,
There has been some thought of adding some additional parking in this area here.
Yeah.
And it just seems a shame that there would be this opportunity to preserve this natural quadrant to the site, when in fact we can contain the expansion of the parking within approximately
Right.
within the
but
existing
it would also
paved
be nice
areas.
to retain the natural
Yeah.
area that's wetland.
Yeah.
Right now, where you're proposing even building new wetland is still open space. So it's still used by, wildlife. It's probably still,
It
subject
probably is.
Yes.
okay? Debbie, any other comments?
No comment.
Mike?
No comments.
Jen?
Nothing.
I don't want to speak for the commission because this is an informal hearing, but if, I don't know how many people feel the same way about retaining the wetlands where it is now. Is that an affirmative from everybody?
Yes. As much as possible, yeah.
As much as possible, yeah.
I don't see, I don't know, when Grand Union went in there, they brought tons and tons of gravel to get it solid enough to pour a footing. You're gonna find that there's probably some bank run gravel left there that they didn't take out to do another project, 'cause that at one time was a lot higher, they hollowed it out. I don't think it was for Route 15, I think it was for another job that was taking place somewhere, a road job or whatever. I don't wanna lose that wetlands, and I think if you start scratching around back there, you're gonna find that that's all fill that's back there. When Grand Union built, they had to put that fill back there to get the trucks to drive around back to unload, which was a tight fit. Because you had Grand Union on the south side, and you had 3 or 4 little stores, Simpson Pharmacy and a couple other stores.
In the existing building.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't think that soils out there would hold a 2-story building. Structural wise, I believe it wouldn't, but that's what you're gonna do. You're gonna show us that.
I'm looking forward to the opportunity if it's allowed.
Okay?
Okay.
Thank you very much for the feedback.
Okay, application A20 2.2, 36 Concord. I think that's Concord Lane. I don't think it's Concord Road. Is that up off of Long Hill?
Oh, no, there's Concord Lane, Road, and Court. There's 3 Concords in this town, I found out the hard way. Where was that? I went there, and I'm trying to remember how I got there.
Okay. Doesn't make any difference because we approved it. It's only a pool activity, right?
Yeah, above ground.
Above ground
Yeah,
pool.
yeah.
Okay, another application is coming in is A20 3.1 Chimney Hill Road. That is to be up for next month's agenda. Okay, the budget, going on to G, the budget. The budget is basically, I don't think we gave any increases to the budget other than by contract. I don't think we added anything to the budget.
No.
Pretty much the budget's been the same for quite a few years now, so we seem to be able to operate within it. All right. I'm going to go to G, item 3.
G, H.
Excuse me, H, item 3. We approved the application of this property, A19 11.2, 425 South Cherry Street. Since we approved it, they have leased a sizable piece of property from the old Cyanamid Alnec, and they're going to be using it for parking. Now, Aaron and I had a few discussions on it. They're not repaving it. They're not changing the drainage. They're not doing anything. There is a one drain in the center of the parking area, and I'm sure it recharges right in the ground in the sand that's there. Now, we've been through this with other applications that basically say without an impact to a wetland, if it's recharging right in the ground, it's not even under our jurisdiction. There's no impact to a wetland, direct impact to a wetland. Aaron has got a feeling that they should come back in for some kind of modification to the permit, Aaron, or what is specifically you're requesting?
All right. This came up fairly quickly. I guess I first saw the plan on the 21st. And I went out to look at the site on February 25th, and have been talking with the project engineer, who happens to be in the audience, I noticed. And I wasn't expecting him here tonight, though. This isn't an application per se, so we're just looking at this. What the issue was, and the chairman, we had talked, and he asked me to get an opinion from the law department. So I wrote this today, this 2-page report, just to sum it up. So the difference, let me just, on the bottom of page 1, that goes over what's different about the plan. It's not just this leased parking area that they're going to lease from Allnex. There's other changes, but they're minor. I mean, nothing they really don't affect, it means something to planning and zoning, but it doesn't mean much to us. Removal of certain parking areas on that original site, fewer truck loading spaces,
Well, let's get to the issue here tonight.
Okay, so, the leasing for 243 spaces for van parking, down the road at the Allnex site. Currently, it's an existing parking lot, it was constructed in 1965. It's had, as far as anyone's told me, no improvements since 1965. And the Allnex, the applicant, which is now, we're told Amazon, is going to just repaint the striping because van spaces are bigger than car spaces. That's why they have to repaint at all to indicate the parking areas. They're not going to put in any light poles or landscaping.
Okay, but how does it affect us?
Or curbing. The way it affects us is it's part of the Allnex, a part of the Amazon operation. It's part of the project. We approved the project on January 15th. The project has gotten bigger. I just wanted to bring that to your attention. As far as water quality or wetlands, it doesn't affect wetlands. As far as water quality, we always look at water quality, and it just gave me pause, this would be a great opportunity to upgrade a 55-year-old parking lot. But the law department says, well, it doesn't trip the wire to allow the planning and zoning or the wetlands to upgrade that part, to make them upgrade the parking lot. It doesn't trip the wire. It's just an interesting conversation that...
Well, then we're not doing anything about this.
Well, I wanted to bring it to your attention, and under recommendation, I said, should they apply for the minor changes to the plan? Now, that is paperwork. That's housekeeping paperwork. In other words, if somebody looks in our file today, it doesn't show this leased parking area. It shows more trucks and cars on the original site, but it doesn't show a driveway. They're adding a new driveway onto South Cherry Street. It doesn't show that. Really, everything should be tucked neatly so that plans show what's actually was finally approved. Okay, so that could be done administratively. That wouldn't hold them up. They would just turn it in to us, a copy in. It could be approved administratively by the chairman saying, yes, we acknowledge this minor change. Okay, I didn't know if you wanted to kick around this idea of how old sites can be upgraded. And then the other thing was maintenance. With new sites, when we approve a new application, we always stick, for the last 10, 12 years that I've been here, we require a stormwater maintenance management plan. In this case, we required that on the original site that we approved in January, but apparently we cannot approve it on this leased parking lot. We cannot make them maintain that. We cannot make Allnex maintain it. We cannot make Amazon maintain it. Nobody can make anyone maintain this parking lot. It's just interesting.
It's so interesting that it doesn't look like it needs to be maintained. It's lasted 55 years the way it is. It's maintained itself. Isn't that interesting for all the rest of the sites that we go crazy about maintenance on?
No one has looked, the project engineer hasn't looked at the outfall. No one really has looked at it because...
I don't think there's an outfall. You told me you couldn't find an outfall.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, yeah, but yesterday they handed in, I should pass this around. The drawing, I'm sorry, I mentioned it in my report. There was an email that came in yesterday, and I got it today, showing the 3 catch basins they found. And the catch basins are attached to a drainage pipe that spills out into the woods. Now, I don't know if they're functioning. They might be all filled up.
Well, what's the commission want to do? I mean, if they want to change their plan, what does the applicant want to do? Come on up.
Good evening.
How are you?
Good. Well,
Microphone, name,
I'm getting there.
you know all the good stuff.
Good evening. My name is Jeff Dew. I'm with BL Companies representing the applicant tonight. when this came up and Erin brought this to my attention, one of the things I did, and I apologize, Erin, she didn't get back to me till late this afternoon. I had a conversation with, her name is Ginny Ryan. She, Allnex actually has a SWIP that they maintain, which is a stormwater pollution prevention plan. So she is in charge. She was actually reaching out to me to see if our project would have any impact on their maintenance and SWIP protocol, which of course it doesn't. As you know, our site drains off onto Penn Road. In that conversation, we realized that our site, our project will have no change on their SWIP, but at the same time, in our discussions, we will most likely, we are more than happy to include the Allnex parking lot in our O&M for the 425 South Cherry Street. So we have our O&M that you approved as part of that project, and we are more than happy to include the Allnex site in that, and we'll pump the catch basins and so forth and clear debris as needed.
Okay, everybody happy?
That's fine.
Everybody happy? You happy, Erin?
Yes, that's
Okay.
news to me, that's great, thank you.
That takes care of that? Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening.
Okay,
Thanks for coming, Jeff.
all right. Now we get into the violations. I think number one, you're still working with the applicant on number one on the violations, 52 Hanover Street?
Yes,
Okay. All right. Note, number two, 1245 Old Colony and Quinnipiac River?
oh, yes. Yes, we have the engineer here.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Bob Emmentayer. I'm an engineer and land surveyor with Design Development Group in Meriden. The handout I gave you, which is that plan, only on a reduced size for each of you to look at. I'll start off with the top sheet, which is sheet number 2. What we're showing there is an overlay of what was approved back in '07. Oh, I'm sorry, '04, and revised 10 of '04. A grading plan. The blue area, as you can see, represents the 100-year floodplain. The red shaded area represents what loss of floodplain there would have been with that plan that was approved. Now, my understanding is back then, you didn't have a requirement for compensatory differential and storage that you're losing. But needless to say, this plan was never built. The second sheet shows you what was done on that site. And you could see the black topography, the black lines, is the limit of the fill that was put in over the years as of December of this year, when we did the topography survey. We show on there the blue area, which is what the floodplain is today, based on elevation of the 100-year flood of 68.9 or 68, let's call it 69. So you have roughly everything below elevation 70 is floodplain. Now, if you take a look, the fill area is, we're going to be excavating that crosshatched area that's in the red crosshatching to bring it down to elevation 70, which is trying to mimic what was approved back in your '04 approval. So that's what the red contours are showing, the proposed grading, and you could see that the elevation on that fill area now is up around elevation 80. We're bringing that down to elevation 70, and then gradually sloping it back up to elevation 80, 82 as we go to the east, which is in that existing parking area that they have, fill area. Now, there's also this little circular area to the west that's in the middle of the floodplain. There's a pile of debris, it looks like logs and God knows what else, that were put in there at one time, and that obviously is encroaching on the floodplain. The dark cross-section is what's also encroaching on the 50-foot setback from the wetland itself. So those two are being required to be, by the town, to be removed and brought back to elevation 70, so you reestablish the floodplain back to where it was. If there's any questions?
Okay, commissioners? So you're saying you're going to bring back that elevations on this site to the 04 vintage?
To mimic that. Now, the only difference is they were showing proposed walls that were going to be built. We're not going to be putting any walls in. So obviously we'll have a sloped area instead. But we're trying to mimic, and actually it's less impact than what was allowed on that. If you look, these two maps are exactly the same scale. If you overlay it, you can see the red portion of there, how far it extends. And that's going to be brought back to the floodplain.
Okay, Deb?
No questions?
Mike?
No questions.
Robert?
No questions.
Jen?
No questions.
Aaron?
Okay,
Sorry, Nick.
I'll start from where we are and go backwards. What I think is still needed here, I'm thrilled with this map tonight. The town planner and I have been meeting several times with Bob Amantea and the owner's representatives on this, and it's been morphing. We've gotten maps, and it's been morphing, and it's been rather tedious, but this is great, and it really shows clearly what's going on and because it's a lot of layers going on. But basically, that road, there's a road on the north side. Actually, we never went out there as a commission, but there was a road that the former owner, Andy Burnham, put in, that he put it in the upland review area. That, it'd be more clear if that was cross-hatched, Bob, on the top. You cross-hatched the logs to be removed. But anyway, it's on the top of this, over here. It's the road that'll be coming out. I suggest in my report that the commission vote tonight to get that road taken out, or to have the applicant. I was going to say, or to have the applicant come and apply to keep the road, but actually, planning and zoning is going to make them take it out anyway, because it's in the most of it's in the floodway. So, at least I thought it was. Is that true?
It's in the floodplain.
Okay. But it's not blue.
But he's gonna need the road to move the material out that's in there.
Yeah,
It's not the first thing that's gonna come out, it's the last thing.
correct.
Okay,
Actually, if you look at the line just to the east of the crosshatched area, that's elevation 70. So everything from that blue shaded area, the red crosshatched area will be blue once this is done, because it'll down
Okay, I see.
below elevation 70. That would be all reclaimed floodplain.
okay, what else, Aaron?
Right. So let me just, I forwarded a copy of the soil scientist map, I think in this packet, maybe it was a month ago, but it shows a lot of this area is filled land.
Oh, God, it's for 100 years.
Right. So it got me thinking, how far under that fill is the wetland? So what I did, I went back and I
I
got
have
all
no
the aerial.
idea how deep the fill is either.
Correct. So I went back and got the aerial photographs going back to 1974, 2001, 2014, and 15. And you can see not only, I was expecting a progression of fill, but it's even crazier than that. It's a manipulation. It goes back and forth and up and down, and trees come and they go. It is quite something. That piece of property has really been messed with for the last, 50, more than that, 100 years.
You are correct.
So it will never be fully understood what happened to that property. But I think this is a good, what we jointly decided, the town planner and meeting with the folks here and myself, is like, okay, we gotta draw the line somewhere. This is the line, this is what we came up with, and this is where we're going, or plan to go. The thing that's missing here is when they do take out this fill, they need a remediation plan. And I guess that's the next step for Bob, to make a remediation plan, because it's, as you've probably seen in the past, the photographs I bring in, it's very sandy, silty material that's out there and it's flying around. It's gonna really go once they start digging into that. So they need a strong remediation plan, erosion control plan to install while they do the work. And it's a lot of work, so it's gonna take over a period of months. You need a good plan and then a stabilization plan. Again, to housekeeping, on page 2 of my report, I suggest the different steps that the commission might want to order the violator here tonight, to go through these different steps.
Nick had a question and then I missed him. Nick?
This thing's been thrashing around for over a year. I'm glad we've moved to this point, and I'm glad to see that we have a starting line to what we're gonna do. The only thing that I ask is that we're all here tonight, we set a time frame to when this is gonna be done, because the applicant has been here previous months, and he's tired of dizzle and dazzling down there. So you've designed a print for him to go by, and I don't have any concerns with Aaron's concern about erosion, because for the last probably 8 or 9 months, he's been down there moving stuff around, so it's not in the river yet, or I haven't seen go by my house. So I'd like us to set time frames tonight to have this cleaned up and straightened out. I don't know if anybody else feels the same way, but
I agree. Okay, are you in agreement with Aaron's recommendations?
Yes.
And what time do you feel, how long will it take you to restore this to the?
I don't know if I can answer that right now. I'd have to talk to the contractor, so he can look at it and say, okay, it's gonna take him X amount of months to do it.
Do you think it could be done within 6 months?
Yeah, I would think 6 months is fine.
Is that okay, Nick?
yeah, no, that's fine. Before the winter months come back.
Yeah.
And if some reason that runs into a snag,
Okay, yeah.
you can come back to us. Okay, Aaron, is that all right?
Okay, so it would be stabilized, you're gonna say it's.
He's gonna do everything you asked him to do.
Okay, do you want the wetland placards? Before we close tonight, could you declare that the notice violation is still in effect?
We can do that.
And do you want to say when they're gonna commence, before May 1st?
I don't think he's gonna commit to the commencement. It'll be done within 6 months, though.
Okay, and do you want a drawing of the erosion controls, or just that they're gonna do it per the environmental planner?
Environmental planner.
Okay.
Okay. This is not, there's no significance, there's no vote on the significant activity because we've already got past that point. But we will need a motion made that, to instruct the, I guess, applicant,
No.
not an applicant, not even an applicant for remediation,
Owner violator.
owner violator, to follow Erin's instructions, or her, I guess, suggestions she has here, and to remediate this problem. With the one exception is the commencement. We don't have a stipulation on the commencement, but we have a completion within 6 months.
In the motion, I would suggest add the date of the environmental planner's report to that.
And also in the Well, let's start with that, and then we'll come back and declare this still a violation.
Do you want the notice of violation first?
Well, okay. I'll entertain a motion to declare this property that the notice of violation is to remain. Let's start with that one.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that the notice of violation on 1245 Old Colony Road in Quinnipiac River remain in effect.
Second,
Second.
all in favor? Aye.
Mr. Simon?
Again, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Okay, now, a motion for correcting the issues.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to instruct the
Violator.
the violator on 1245 Old Colony Road in Quinnipiac River to follow the suggestions from the planner's report of February 27, 2020, for completion within 6 months.
Motion made. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made, second. Any discussion?
Let's give them a date. Do you want to have a report? I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Do we want to have the applicant give us a report on the September meeting of an update on how things are going, just so we
Progress report?
get a feel approximate, yeah, we're not asking for it in stone, but if he can come in and verbally just say, hey, we've got 90% of the project done, or, I mean,
Let's take that as a separate motion, all right?
okay.
Can I suggest an amendment to that motion? That you order the violator is one thing, and the other thing is tie it to the plan submitted tonight. So to follow suggestions of the environmental, I think you said the planner, I'm not sure, of the environmental planner's report, the date of the report, 20, whatever it was, based on the map, based on the drawings that were submitted to the Wetland Commission on March 4th.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to amend the motion to instruct the violator to follow the suggestions from the environmental planner's report of February 27, 2020, based on the drawings submitted on March 4th of 2020. It should be finished within 6 months.
As long as we're in the amendment, why don't we amend that?
And with a progress report in September of 2020.
Okay, Bob?
Very good.
That's still in there?
Yep.
Okay, the motion was made and seconded. The amendment has now been made. Is there a second on the amended motion?
Second.
And any discussion on the amended motion? Call for a vote. Nick?
Yes.
Deb?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Robert?
Yes.
Yes. I think that Robert's rules indicates that that first motion should have been withdrawn or something, and the second motion in, but I think we've got the gist of what's going on, so I think we're okay. Okay. All set? Thanks.
That's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. The number 3 violation, you're in hot pursuit of that one with Janice. That's the 1103 Old Colony? No.
Yes,
Yeah.
the notice of violation was placed on the land records. I think you saw that in the packet.
Yeah.
And we're continuing to go after them, yes.
Okay, notice of violation, 950 South Colony Street. INRSJ LLC. Okay, Aaron, this is where you shine.
Somebody forgot their phone.
Get him, guys, catch him.
I got it.
They're right there still. Thank you, Norm.
What's going on? Or do I start? Are we waiting for someone?
Yeah, you could wait
Wait
for
for
the,
the, alleged violator.
No problem. Did you get him?
He's gone. He'll be back. Leave it with somebody over there.
You got Bob Amatea's phone number?
Somebody's found one of these two people.
Aaron, do you
Okay.
have Bob Amatea's phone number, Design Development Group?
I don't have it on me. Oh, I might have.
It could be, but at least they'd be together. I know, let me just try. Sometimes they tie them together. Holy shit.
Well, it might be on the plans here, Jim.
What is it, 9809?
I can't read it. That's not his cell, that's his office number.
Correct, but sometimes they tie together.
Show me this trick. You go to photo. Find it. That's the camera. Go to camera. Go over what you want, and you zoom in. 235-9809.
Well, that ain't the right number anyway, so we won't worry about it. Okay, all right, Aaron, you start.
Okay, so I was driving along looking at our first applicant's house at, 12 and 16 Northfield Road, and I came back around and I said, oh, the car wash, remember that car wash owner came in a few months ago asking how much of an ordeal it would be to, develop out the back? Could he get a wetland permit? He came into the counter. So I said, I'll just swing in there. So I swung in there and took these pictures that went out attached to the notice of violation that went out in your packet on Friday. So the fill. Now, up there is also, I left to pass around a whole packet of photographs, I believe I did,
yeah, got it.
that were taken yesterday, or the day before, yesterday, that show more completely the filling that we're about to discuss. So this car wash development of facility was completed in 2006, and there were no issues, there were no violations. It was developed correctly to a site plan, and they put up little wetland placards on the trees. There were mature trees, a row of mature trees in the back, hitting the back curb, or just behind the back curb, and they had placards on them. Well, most of the trees are gone now, and the placards with them. And we have this fill, which is, I don't know, roughly 20, 25 feet across, and I don't know, 70 feet long, and it goes all the way down the slope. The new pictures show how it goes down the slope. My camera broke. That's why there's no slope pictures in your first, the copy of the notice of violation that was issued. But tonight's, I don't know where they are. Who's got the picture packet?
I do.
Okay. They show amply how it goes all the way down the slope into the wetlands below. This is the floodplain of the Wharton Brook. These are floodplain wetlands, very flat on the bottom. There's a very clear demarcation between the steep slope. This is like a 1-to-1 slope, comes right down into the wetland. The FEMA floodplain comes up that slope around, 8 feet or so, 6 feet, something like that, up the slope. So there is fill material in the floodplain. They're going to have to deal with that with planning and zoning. There is fill material in all the fill is in every piece of this fill is in our upland review area. Some of it tumbled down into the wetlands. I think that part was inadvertent, it just tumbled down there. I don't know the reason, I don't know why anyone would want to do this, except maybe to create usable land. Because you're extending the land, you're making a level area where it used to be air. So you're filling in a slope, so now it's level on the top, and there's more potentially usable area. One thing I didn't know until the car wash attorney told me that there's a right-of-way across there. There's Dominic DiMartino's Development Corporation they secured a right-of-way across the back of this property in the area of the fill we're discussing. Maybe did you bring I don't know if they brought a map of that. Apparently it was added in 2015. An easement, a right-of-way, meaning an easement, was added across the back, across this property. This car wash property goes clear back to the brook. It's long and skinny, goes way back into the woods. So I don't know if you want to go out and see it as a commission.
Well, what is your recommendation?
All right, first off, I didn't require any erosion controls because it seems pretty stable. So usually in these cases, there is erosion, but I didn't see any. Of course, we haven't had much snow. All right. Then yesterday, I noticed there was sedimentation and erosion, or sedimentation occurring from the garden center next door. They're stockpiling various materials, sand, dirt, and millings and so on, that have spilled over into the car wash property and then come down and enter the catch basin at the car wash. I called True Blue today. They have a lease on that area, and I said, could you put in some hay bales around that catch basin and clean up the sand? And they said yes, and they did. They came onto the car wash property, and I saw this afternoon that they had done the work and cleaned up all that material, and this shows in some of the photographs that are going around. So that's good. The next step is for them to bring those material back from the property line, because it's spilling over the Jersey barriers. They just spill right over onto the other property. Okay. So as far as what I recommend, it's the kind of thing that you have to see it to see the enormity of it, how much material there is there. It presents a FEMA issue as well. The thing about taking it out, in a case like this, we would perhaps order them to take out the material. The downside to taking it all out is that you had a stable slope. Trees were on this slope. It was stable. I saw it in 2007, the last time I saw it. It was stable. Now most of the trees, or a good number of trees, are gone. It's got rock there. If you take out that rock, that slope is not stable, and it's very hard to stabilize something that's that steep. Several of the trees, though, they're filled up 5 feet up the trunk. They're going to die. Maybe 5 trees are going to die. They got the rock filled up, way up on their trunk. So I think we're going to lose those trees are going to go anyway. I don't know. There's also, separate from the rock and fill material, there's trash. There's a couch. There's various, window frames. There's all sorts of trash that's been tossed over the end of the slope.
Well, you haven't got any positive direction then yet at the moment. You don't have any positive direction on this.
There's 3 parties involved, and yesterday I met with the car wash owner and his attorney, who are here tonight. I met with them yesterday. Today I met in the field I called Dominic DiMartino. He insisted on meeting with me because he was not happy about this, and he wanted True Blue out there and the car wash owner. The car wash owner was there. True Blue didn't show. They didn't come. But he stated he wanted to get to the bottom of this. He didn't know how it happened. And so I don't know really what's going on. So
Maybe the applicant can, or the Violator, I guess I've been corrected.
Good evening, I'm Norman Fishbein, I'm an attorney in Wallingford, and I'm representing the violator, alleged violator. Mr. Komal, Naresh Komal, is the owner of the...
You gotta use the microphone, you gotta be right into the microphone.
Is the owner of the One NRSJ LLC, is present with me today. I just wanted to respond to a couple of things that Ms. O'Hare brought up. She had indicated that there had been no erosion problems, but we hadn't had very much snow this year, but we've had a lot of rain, and we've had a lot of heavy rain, and I would suspect that if there were erosion problems, perhaps that would have been demonstrated at that time. The trash that's in the back there, if you go down and look at it, this appears to be an area that people might come at odd times of the night and throw their stuff there. I can assure you that my client, who is a businessman and runs several car washes, would not take this area and put an old sofa down there or something like that. How you prevent that, I don't know. He's put a sign up, but you know what signs do. How this came about, the best we can determine is this. If you go down and look at this property, when you come back around the rear of the car wash building, it is bituminous paved, and there's a very low curb. And as you come around to come into the place where the bay is, there's this little curb there. And about a year ago, as I understand it from my client, a woman came in, she was probably texting or talking on her phone, it was a slippery day, she hit the curb and she went over the curb onto this area, which has now been filled in with stone. At that time, it was a very precipitous cliff. And my client mentioned it to the guy next door, the mulch guy, as I understand it, and he said he could put some stuff there to try to make it less of a dangerous area. I guess he didn't understand or didn't realize that this was not allowed to be done. And when the man came in and did it, he filled in more than my client had anticipated. It is a lot of rock. It is a lot of dirt that's there on the surface. So I can tell you that that's how we think it came about. This letter came out from Ms. O'Hare dated February 28th. She mailed it on February 28th by certified mail. My client just got it on Monday. He came in to see me on Monday. We met with her immediately as best we could, and we have a meeting with our engineer tomorrow to try to talk about this, but we're not sure exactly where we're going with it. Also, in the letter, it indicated that we should contact Casey Hand. As you know, Casey is about to engage on a maternity leave. So when I stopped in yesterday, the same day, I stopped in to see Casey, and I spoke to Amy Torrey in the office and apprised her of the fact that we had this issue, and Erin was kind enough to give us her map so I could go over that with Amy, so we made her aware of the fact that this is on the horizon as well. We were summoned to come tonight, and we are here tonight.
I think we appreciate all the things, all of the above.
Thank you.
I'm sure he didn't place the couch there. I mean, if you're going to take a nap, it wouldn't be out there.
Not on this couch.
No, not on that couch. But it's an issue.
Jeff.
Sure. It's interesting that he came in 2 or 3 months earlier talking about possibly doing something back there, and then surprisingly it got done.
No. This happened about a year ago that this incident happened. He came in to see Erin a few months ago.
Right.
Is that correct?
Right. He came in a few months ago requesting expansion of the parking area.
Right.
After it was done.
After the fill.
After the fill is done.
The fill was done about a year ago.
Wait a minute. There's too many stories now going on here. Aaron, you led me to believe that they came in a couple of months ago requesting to put the fill in.
In December.
Around Christmas, exploring, if I wanted to expand back there, what's involved? Do I have to get a permit?
That's what I asked.
Yeah, that was this past December.
That's right.
But the incident with the car happened a year ago.
That's fine. I'm not denying that.
Okay.
But 2 months ago, you requested what would needed to be expanded. And you didn't follow through, but you just expanded.
No, the fill was done before I asked her. I was in September, before October, this thing had happened. Because I was away, I was in overseas. The person, he talked to me before that,
if we all put some stones over there just for safety side. I said, okay. So I went away, I was overseas. When I came back, they already have done it. They did that one, and my employees told me, oh, they did some stone work over there. I said, yeah, really? So I went over there. He said, oh, I already took care of it. You wouldn't have any problem. I said, okay. So, and I don't know if and then I came in December, this December. That's after the work is done, not before. That's what, when I saw that, I asked, I didn't know it's a wetland. I didn't know much about wetland, to be honest with you. Then they told me, yesterday she told me, you open all the way to the wetland. So I don't know what to do. All he did to fill up what he told me, when it's slanted, he filled it up so it doesn't, nobody falls over there or something. Because it's so close to the edge. And there was tree fall over to the car wash. We cut it and we removed that. There was two trees when the storm was. And some of the trees are still hanging up there, all broken. So I think he probably knocked that, the what you call it, the bushes, I don't know. So I wasn't there when it was done, and only thing he was supposed to do, he told me, oh, he'll put some stone to do that. And when I came there, this is done. And I don't know if it was how he did it, why he did it, and this conversation was after October, December sometime I came to her. It's not, it was already done. It's not.
But all right, so you came to her, she told you needed it for an application, is that correct, Aaron?
Right, we were in the process doing it.
Oh, yeah, but there was no drawing, he was just thinking, these were just ideas.
I thought what we
There
can.
seems to be a little language barrier going on here, or something on what took place when. But you situation that whenever the stone was put there, he knew that he needed an application to put the stone there.
No,
I didn't know
no,
that.
That's
no,
what she said.
No?
No,
no,
not
no.
exactly.
No.
He came in saying, in theory, if I wanted to expand back there for a restaurant or some bigger project, could I do that? Would I be allowed? And I said, well, you need a wetland permit and you're right up on the top of that slope, so probably you wouldn't get your permit. That was the
conversation.
It was 5 minutes. 5 minutes. It was a real quick, no drawing, just a conversation.
Anyway, going forward,
here we are.
you've got to talk, everybody's got to talk.
Right.
Then you can come back and.
Right, and the engineer, we have an appointment with our engineer tomorrow, and then there'll be some conversation between the engineer and Ms. O'Hare so that we can begin the process of trying to remedy this.
Fair enough.
If I could, Mr. Chairman, I was looking at this drawing, I just had thought that maybe the rock, if the rock was pulled around away from some of these trees, that they could live, and that underneath there, it might be pretty solid. The ground might be.
That might be, Aaron, but if you're 5 feet up on a tree, how far around do you think the rock has got to come back? You got to take 5, 6 feet of rock out, and you're going to have a straight wall of rock, and then the tree in front of it?
I think the trees that she's talking about are a little further down the hill, not up.
Right, like halfway down the slope.
The problem with that, practically speaking, is there's a real slant there, and if you're asking to remove rock around it, you're gonna have to get machinery in there or something. I don't know what.
There's a lot of issues going on here, but if the rock is 5 feet up the tree, that means the wall of rock is going to be 5 feet exposed next to the tree.
Could be. Yeah.
So there's discussions to be had.
Okay.
Well, but what I was really thinking, I don't know, but maybe that slope surface is intact under there. It's not all raw. Maybe it's intact under, 5 feet of rock.
But Aaron, you guys, you can discuss that with them. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Maybe it's fill already, before they built the car wash. But there's a violation that it was put there. The question is it going to stay, is it going to get removed?
Right.
Okay? Not that there's a hard surface underneath what's there now.
Oh, well, I was just thinking, if there is a hard surface, we could ask him to remove the rock, and then it won't create a gully mess.
Well,
It might be okay.
It was stable by itself beforehand.
That's right, it was.
So,
Do you want to do a site walk out there?
You can drive, no, the pictures are pretty explanatory. I mean, you've got a steep wall of rock, and that rock is a processed rock. It's recycled concrete and different things, and it's very common being used today. If True Blue is the one who brought it in, they have a colorful file with them, with us now. I mean, I find it all interesting how it ties together. But I think it's just a case, you've got to start figuring out what's going to be done. You can't speculate here that we're going to take the rock away from the tree. Not right now. I mean, you're going to slope it this way, you're going to dig the one tree. Let's see what the engineer has to say, I think.
Okay.
And is everybody going to be there, the whole neighborhood going to be there to discuss with the engineer?
The whole neighborhood, meaning my client
Engineer
and Dominic?
and Dominic.
Is he gonna be there tomorrow too?
He was there when I called him. I asked him who did the engineering, so he gave me the name. I called
So
the
will you
person.
contact Dominic and see if he can meet with the engineer tomorrow?
Sure.
All right? And Aaron will be there? No.
Sure.
Not yet. Not yet.
Well, I'm gonna suggest that maybe the engineer, Dominic, and Naresh meet tomorrow and then make some kind of a report back to her. And then if she wants to have a combined meeting, that might make more sense. I think they might need time to discuss things that would take up her time. She doesn't have to be there for that,
Fair enough.
okay?
Yep.
Thank you all for your
Okay,
attention.
thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, is there anything else?
Yes, if you could just affirm that the notice of violation
That
is in effect.
entertain a motion to confirm the violation of this property.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to affirm the notice of violation on 950 South Colony Road, 1NRSJ LLC car wash facility.
Second,
Second.
all in favor? Robert,
Well, no,
Yes. Yes.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Mr. Simon?
Okay, I think so. I didn't want to bring that up. Okay, anything else to come before us tonight? Motion to adjourn? Motion to adjourn?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Good pictures, Aaron.